UPSC Civil Service Examination General Studies Main. Solved paper 2. File 2. Answer. Time allowed 3 hours. Maximum marks 300. Question number 1. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30. A. Discuss the global response to President George Bush's National Missile Defense Plan, NMD. Important points for answer. Bush's NMD plan. Detail, effect, global response. Answer. America declared the NMD plan in April 2001, costing it about USD 60 billion. It was in development since 1990s but was signed in 2002. This declaration has effect of violating Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty of 1972 and may also take the CTBT ineffective. When the President Bill Clinton had announced preparation of this plan, world leaders including NATO did not favor. Though America calls it a step towards security, it has effect of creating new race in the world for arms among the nations. Russian President Putin called it a subject of deep concern over the world security. Chinese President Jiang Zemin also opposed the plan. France, Germany, North Korea, some Muslim countries, and some of the socialist South American countries have also called it a step of America towards leading the world to unipolarity. Hardly any nation approves of it, as it has effect of leading the world again to insecure and unbalanced power position. Total 157 words. B. What were the major recommendations of the group ministers on Indian national security system? Important points for answer. Group ministers, objective, recommendations. Answer. The group of ministers GOM was set up in April 2000 to review the national security system in its entirety and in particular to consider the recommendations of the Kargil Review Committee. The GOM under the chairmanship of Sri L.K. Advani submitted its report on 23rd May 2001. Its main recommendations are: central government is advised not to involve the paramilitary forces in works other than their duties, to make utilization of the emergency provisions in issues endangering national security and integrity like Kargil, to speed up the judicial system on criminal matters, to strengthen the intelligence agencies, to constitute a joint command of Defense Ministry with Defense Forces, to review and amend various laws, including the Citizenship Act, to make their implementation more effective, to strengthen internal security, border security and management, vesting them with more powers and less political interferences. All these recommendations were made to prevent repetition of incidents like Kargil attack in India. Total 159 words. C. Examine the latest phase of Indo-Iran relations. Important points for answer. Indo-Iran relations, current issues, progress, evaluation. Answer. The Prime Minister of India, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and the President of Iran, Mr. Khatami, signed Tehran Declaration on 10th April 2001. It was a historic step between India and Iran to enter into strategic relations. There are provisions for technology, information technology, energy, and trade commerce cooperation. Both nations have agreed to confer most favored nation status upon each other. Both sides agreed for a comprehensive conference on terrorism. For regional stability in Asia, both nations agreed to fight against terrorism. Situation of Afghanistan was reviewed by both the countries. The issue of natural gas transportation was discussed, exploring options for overland and undersea pipeline. For the progress in bilateral trade, both sides considered elimination of double taxation, promotion of investment, and protection of commercial and political interests of both the countries. Mr. Vajpayee addressed the Majlis, Iran Parliament on 11th April 2001, thus becoming the first foreign leader to address the House. Total 155 words. Question 2. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10 marks. A. What is India's Look East policy? Answer. Started by Narasimha Rao government in 1990s, it aims at developing harmonious relations with the countries of East and Southeast Asia by giving them more importance. B. What do you understand by G15? Answer. G15, Group of 15 nations, is an organization of 15 developing nations established in Non-Alignment Conference 1989 in Belgrade, Yugoslavia. Currently, it has 17 members and its secretariat is at Geneva. C. Explain the problem of infiltration in eastern parts of India. Answer. From the eastern countries of Bangladesh and Myanmar, illegal infiltration has affected law and order, economy balance of population in India. D. Why does India object to Kashmir being treated as disputed territory? Answer. Kashmir is an integral part of India and therefore objects to use the term disputed territory, which may give a claim to Pakistan over Kashmir. C. E. What is the significance of Pirdiwad and Boraibari in Indo-Bangladesh relations? Answer. Pirdiwa is a territory of Bangladesh and Boraibari is of India. Yet Bangladesh controls Boraibari and India controls Pirdiwa till date. This has been a reason of dispute between the two countries. Question 3. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10. A. In what fields have NRIs excelled in the developed countries? Answer. NRIs have excelled in the fields of information technology, medical science, engineering, trade and commerce, industry, academics and literature in the developed countries. B. In which specialities Indians are most wanted abroad? Answer. Indians are most wanted in highly professional fields like information technology, medical, engineering, scientific research, as well as in blue-collar jobs like construction workers and domestic laborers. C. What efforts are being made by Indian government to look after NRIs? Answer. MEA and MOIA have started facilitating NRIs by granting OCI and POI status, opening Indian economy for investment, extending consular and community welfare supports. D. What is the contribution of the NRIs to India's development? Answer. NRIs have invested in Indian economy, brought knowledge and technology, remittances, has strengthened forex reserve of India, earned goodwill and spread culture of India in other countries. E. Why do NRIs retain their emotional attachment to India? Answer. Roots of NRIs are Indian and their cultural affinities to India remain stronger as they follow Indian traditions and customs abroad. They also have family relationships with India. Question 4. Answer any one of the following. Answer should be in about 250 words. A. What is the incidence of poverty in India? How should poverty alleviation programs be constructed? Important points for answer. Poverty in India measurement, incidence of poverty, construction of poverty alleviation program, suggestions. Answer. In India, poverty is defined on the basis of calories required by a person in a day, separately for rural and urban areas. Indian Planning Commission fixed 2,400 calories per person per day in rural areas and 2,100 calories per person per day in urban areas as the limit of poverty line. Professor Lakdawala Committee suggested to measure per capita income on the basis of consumer price index and industrial workers index. According to Professor Lakdawala formula, 35.37% of country's population was below poverty line in 1993-94 and 26.10% in 1999-2000. State-wise distribution of poverty in India ranges from more than 50% in Bihar to nearly 10% in Punjab. Many policies and programs, especially after the fifth five-year plan, are directed to alleviate poverty, which definitely raised level of life but are not completely successful. Direct involvement of people in the programs would result into more success in policy implementation. Awareness among executives, bureaucrats and public is an essential requirement. Panchayats should be given more power and authority in implementation of such program. More localized content and implementation of policies can be result oriented. Awareness of people about benefits and opportunities available under various government schemes can be created. In rural areas, agricultural and animal husbandry related schemes and programs can be encouraged with community cooperation. Various crafts, arts and skills should be developed among youth and necessary training tools, loans can be provided to make them self-reliant. Cottage and small industry development will also help in the fulfillment of this aim. Total 257 words. B. Indian economy presents a paradox of high savings rate with low income and high savings rate with low growth rate. Analyze. 30 marks. Indian economy, saving rate, low income, growth rate, paradox, reasons. Answer. Economy requires capital formation for its growth. Indian economic growth has been slow due to lack of capital formation. Capital formation is achieved through savings, domestic or individual, loans and debts. For higher rate of capital formation, a country requires to raise saving rate as it cannot depend upon loans and debts. In India, per capita income is low, but public makes saving out of that low income by not spending a part over the consumer goods. This habitual saving has become a social phenomenon which has led to high savings rate even with low income. At the time of independence, there was 10.2% domestic capital formation, which rose to 27.3% in 1997-98. India has targeted 30% rate of capital formation for the achievement of growth targets. The growth rate of Indian economy has been slow since independence. Indian economy has not achieved targeted growth rate during most of the 5-year plans. Mr. Jagdish Bhaguti presented this paradox of highest savings rate with low growth rate. Reasons forwarded for this are factors like lack of enough productivity, misdirected investment, inefficient work. Indian economic policies till 1990s have been without much flexibility, which had adverse effects on Indian growth rate. Slow productivity tops the list of factors responsible for economic slow growth. India has higher savings rate. While the higher savings rate has led to higher capital formation, but it has not resulted into high growth rate due to some economical and administrative lacuna. The growth rate in accordance with the savings has not been achieved. Total 257 words. Question 5. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30 marks. A. Liberalization of the Indian economy since 1991 has led to excessive consumerism and overproduction of white goods. Elucidate. Important points for answer. Liberalization, economic impact, consumerism trend, white goods effects. Answer. At the end of the first phase of economic liberalization, 1991 to 2001, the result is economic growth and better availability of goods and services to consumers of India. The review of the phase shows that economic growth has been achieved and employment are also generated, but it has resulted into increased spending capacity. Demand is high and level of production is also high. Excess spending capacity has led to consumerism in India. Sale of luxury goods has increased. Markets are full with white goods, that is goods for the higher class of society, by multinational companies. White goods, that is electrical consumer appliances for domestic use, are high in demand and families benefited by liberalization have started spending on such white goods. Multinational companies have come to Indian markets producing white goods and Indian producers have also been involved in the race. They could sustain only due to the increased consumerism in Indian society. Total 156 words. B. What are the hurdles faced by the Finance Minister of India keeping the fiscal deficit below 3 to 4% of GDP? Suggest steps to lower the fiscal deficit. Important points for answer. Fiscal deficit, causes of increase, hurdles faced by Indian FMs, measures suggested. Answer. The difference between total revenue and total expenditure of the government is termed as fiscal deficit. The last half of the 90s has indicated higher fiscal deficit and its increase year by year. Reasons responsible for fiscal deficit beyond the control of the finance ministers are higher expenditure of salaries and allowances after the implementation of the 5th Pay Commission, higher interest payment on debts and loans of the government, no increase in revenue in proportion to the expenditure, no control over deficit. Reduction in the rate of taxes. Due to these reasons, finance ministers could not control fiscal deficits below 3 to 4%. Suggested measures are to reduce expenditure of administration, To increase income from revenue by widening tax base, to tax upon the agriculture and other commodities henceforth excluded, though at the minimum rate, to make the tax collection machinery efficient, to disinvest the PSUs running in losses, to efficiently collect payments for services provided by the government. Total 160 words. C. Discuss the nature and causes of the UTI crisis with a particular reference to US 64. How does this UTI fiasco affect the investment climate in India? Important points for answer. UTI crisis, US 64 scheme, effects on investment climate. Answer. Unit Trust of India, UTI has been a profitable unit for investment in India, but some losses caused by it in last few years has raised a suspicion over investment climate. Launched in 1964, the US 64, an open-ended balanced fund, is its flagship fund. UTI decided to suspend the purchase and sale of its US 64 scheme for 6 months in 2001 due to mismanagement in purchasing of shares in communication, IT and entertainment sectors was the greatest fault by management. The Deepak Parikh committee recommendations were not followed. The crisis exposes that the loss is due to the mismanagement of fund, priority to the interest of officers and members, share brokers and industrialists in comparison to the investors. If the UTA cannot be loyal to the interest of investors and cannot improve management, the only unit in India with public reliability will also lose the confidence, which in turn would discourage people from saving, affecting capital formation. Total 159 words. Question 6. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 15, 30. A. What is CRISIL? CRISIL. What does it do? Answer. CRISIL, the Credit Rating Information Services of India Limited, is a credit rating agency. CRISIL undertakes the rating of fixed deposit programs, convertible and non-convertible debentures apart from credit assessment of companies. B. What do you understand by current account convertibility of rupee? Answer. It refers to freedom to use Indian currency for purchase of goods and services but not capital assets. From budget of 1992 to 93, Indian rupee was made fully convertible to buy any amount of foreign currency. C. What do you mean by providing industry status to agriculture in India? Answer. Granting industry status to agriculture sector would mean that it could avail facilities and benefits on a par with an industry, but tax provisions are hurdles in this way. D. Elucidate Operation Flood. Answer. Launched in 1970 by the National Dairy Development Board, Operation Flood was the world's biggest dairy development program aimed at creating milk grid across India. It made India the largest producer of milk and milk products. E. Expand the term NASDAQ. Answer. An American stock exchange, National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotations, formed in 1971 by National Association of Securities Dealer, is located in New York and is the second largest in the world. F. Differentiate between galloping inflation and runaway inflation. Answer. When inflation, increase of prices, is in double digit, it is called galloping inflation. Runaway inflation is linked to interest rate linked increase in prices, which is difficult to control. G. What is meant by couple protection ratio? Answer. The couple protection ratio, CPR, is usually expressed as the percentage of women in the age group of 15 to 49 years protected from pregnancy or childbirth in the year under consideration for a specific area versus non-protected couple. H. Distinguish between Human Development Index and Gender Related Development Index. Answer. The HDI is a composite index of life expectancy, education and per capita income indicators. The GDI is the ratio of HDIs calculated separately for females and males using the same methodology as in the HDI. I. What is green GNP? Answer. Gross national product is used in measuring national income. When environmental depreciation is deducted from GNP, we get green GNP. J. Distinguish between a hard currency and a soft currency. Answer. A hard currency remains relatively stable through a short period of time and to be highly liquid in the forex. Soft currency is hypersensitive and fluctuates frequently. K. Explain rolling plan. Answer. It is a plan designed to continue over a period of time and is subject to regular review and updating. Janata government launched rolling plan in 1978. I. KL. Illustrate Lorentz curve. Answer. Developed by Dr. Max O. Lorentz. It's a cumulative frequency curve representing the distribution of a variable such as population against an independent variable such as income. M. What is meant by trickle-down theory of development? Answer. It declares development as an economic phenomenon. Economic development raises the level of society and percolates its benefits to the lower strata of society by itself. N. What is misery index? Answer. A measure of economic well-being for a specified economy computed by taking the sum of the unemployment rate and the inflation rate for a given period. An increasing index means a worsening economic climate and vice versa. O. What is meant by most favored nation policy? Answer. Most favored nation status is when a country enjoys the best trade terms given by its trading partner. That means it receives the lowest tariffs, the fewest trade barriers, and the highest import quotas, or none at all. Question 7. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30. A. Discuss the significance of Kyoto Protocol. Why is USA not signing it? Important points for answer. Kyoto Protocol, provisions, significance, USA's contention. Answer. Kyoto Protocol of 1997 is related to the emission of greenhouse gases. It is an international agreement linked to the UNFCCC, which commits its parties by setting internationally binding emission reduction targets. A conference in July 2001 in Germany was held over the protocol and its progress. It is to come into force from 2002 and has provision to reduce emission of GHGs by 5% of the 1990 level emission by 2008 to 2012. For its enforcement, ratification by the industrialist nations responsible for 55% of emission is required. The protocol sets a date of 2012 to stop emission of GHGs. Global warming is the result of greenhouse effect for which greenhouse gases like methane, CO2 and some halogens are responsible. Bush administration of USA has not signed the protocol, arguing that China, the second largest producer of GHGs, it is out of the protocol along with some other developing countries. Total 154 words. B. Evaluate the performance of summit meeting the Arab League held in March 2001. Important points for answer. Arab League Summit 2001, Agenda, Evaluation. Answer. The meeting of the Arab League was completed on 27 March 2001. It discussed various matters among which Palestine, Israel and Iraq questions were the major issues. The host of the meeting, Mr. Shah Abdullah II of Jordan, favored Palestinians and appealed members to help them against the atrocities by the Israeli forces. The Russian president's message was read, which proposed to solve the problem of UN prohibitions by a package of suspending the bans and bringing Iraqi nuclear program under international inspection, then finally end them. All nations condemned Israeli forces' occupation and atrocities over Palestine and appealed the international community to constitute a committee to investigate into the matter. Some nations like Tunisia, Syria proposed stricter actions against Israel. A fund with $1 billion amount was constituted to help the Palestinian people. As a whole, apart from discussing the trade and political matters, the League pay great attention to the Palestine and Iraq matters, supporting their cause. Total 161 words. C. Outline the salient features of India's nuclear policy and explain the reasons for India's refusal to sign the CTBT. Important points for answer. India's nuclear policy, main features, India's opposition to CTBT. Answer. In August 1999, India declared its nuclear policy, which follows no first use doctrine and assures that only in case of any nuclear attack the nuclear weapons will be used. India will acquire minimum nuclear capacity to counterattack in case of war. India will behave as a responsible nation and will never attack a non-nuclear power with such weapons. India has reiterated that India will not sign CTBT, Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, in its present form. Reasons once again explained for are: the treaty does not limit time or proposed doctrine of nuclear-free world. Nuclear powers can experiment with supercomputers in this field, and developing nations will not be able to experiment. They are not serious introduction of nuclear weapons in certain time limit. India believes it is not an agreement to make the world free from nuclear weapons, but only to stop new powers entering this club. Total 156 words. Question 8. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10 marks. A. What do the following stand for? Answer. 1. UNCIP. The United Nations Commission for India and Pakistan, UNCIP, 1948 to 50, was tasked to investigate and mediate the India-Pakistan dispute over the future of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. 2. KLA. The Kosovo Liberation Army was an ethnic Albanian paramilitary organization that sought the separation of Kosovo from the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, FRY, and Serbia during the 1990s and the eventual creation of Greater Albania. B. Why has Slobodan Milosevic been in news in the recent past? Answer. He was known as Butcher of Balkan. He is accused of killing thousands of Albanians in Kosovo. He was delivered to the International Court of Justice in March 2001. C. Who is Gao Zhan? Answer. She was convicted for 10 years imprisonment but detailed for 166 days by China for her alleged spy activities against China for Taiwan. D. Who is Megawati Sukarnoputri? Answer. Daughter of Indonesia's first president Sukarno. She is elected as the 5th president of Indonesia in July 2001. She is the first women president of Indonesia. E. Which is the latest right confirmed by the 57th session of the United Nations? Answer. The 57th session of the United Nations confirmed the right to live in clean and pollution-free environment to all persons. Answer the following questions. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10. A. What is GCC? Answer. GCC stands for Gulf Cooperation Council. This organization of 6 Gulf countries consisting of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Kuwait, Qatar and Bahrain have signed the Cooperative Security Agreement in December 2000. B. Why was Macau in news recently? Answer. Macau was handed over to China after about 4.5 centuries of control by Portugal in December 2000. China will provide it administrative autonomy for 50 years. C. What is G8? Answer. Group of 8 developed countries consisting of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, UK and USA. G8 meet in its 26th annual conference in Japan on July 21 to 23. D. What is European Union? Answer. European Union (EU) is an economic and political union of 28 countries which came into existence in 1993. It is an organization of primarily European countries and it deals with foreign affairs, security and police. E. Explain the position of UN vis the League of Nations. Answer. The UN came into existence through a charter in 1945 at the end of the Second World War, while the League of Nations through a treaty in 1920 as a result of the Paris Peace Conference which ended the First World War. Question 10. Answer any one of the following. Answer should be in about 250 words. A. What is a cryogenic engine? Discuss its significance in India's space program. 30 marks. Important points for answer. Cryogenic engine, technology, importance, India's progress, effect on space programs. Answer. Cryogenic means low temperature. Cryogenic engines are highly efficient liquid propellant engines. They use liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen as the propellant. Oxygen can be kept in liquid state at below minus 183 degrees centigrade temperature, while hydrogen requires temperature below minus 253 degrees centigrade to be in liquid form. Moreover, the liquid oxygen is very reactive, so effective technology is required to ensure that both come in contact only in the combustion chamber. Apart from this technological care, two quite different states of temperature are required to be maintained. To keep propellant in liquid state, low temperature is to be maintained, while in the combustion chamber, very high temperature and pressure are created by combustion to create a greater thrust. These engines produce greater thrust by the same weight of propellant than other engines. They are highly efficient and are used throughout the world. India signed an agreement with Russia for cryogenic technology, but due to American pressure, Russia did not transfer India this technology. However, later on, ISRO tried to develop this technology and has achieved much success in this path. India will become self-reliant in its space program after the development of this technology. Cryogenic engines are very useful in launching of heavy satellite launch vehicles like GSLV. We will be able to launch much heavier satellites into orbit. Even satellite launching market will be available for India in the world. Cryogenic engines will not only make India progress in its own programs, but communication of this technology and its services will get India foreign currency. B. What are stem cells? Why have they been in news recently? Discuss 30 marks. Important points for answer. Stem cells, technology, benefits, issues in debate, world response. Answer. Stem cells are special types of cells that have ability to grow into any kind of tissue. They can be used to grow into heart, skin, liver, blood, or any other kind of tissue. These cells are taken from the patient's own body, from his bone marrow. If it is a newly born child, placenta cells are taken. Such stem cells can also be produced from embryos or from umbilical cord blood. Their ability to grow into required types of tissue make them useful to cure many diseases. They can repair the damaged part of our body. Apart from this, they can be preserved for years by keeping them in liquid nitrogen at minus 270 degrees Celsius and can be used for the treatment of the person when he gets any defect in his body. But a new controversy has arisen with the concept of stem cells. A group of politicians and ethics advocates ask whether they are really embryo cells and are ethically justified to replace them. However, the debate is over the embryo stem cells. They favor the right to life of the embryonic fertilized cells. On the other hand, the scientists show the benefits and potential utility of these cells to cure human diseases. More than 45 disorders can be treated with these stem cells. Britain has favored research in stem cells, while America allows only research over the embryo cells and not their use. India is also conducting research in this field. Apart from this ethical debate, these researchers have their own technical problems yet to be solved. Total 261 words. Question 11. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30. What is fiber optics? What advantages does it offer in telecommunications? Elaborate. Important points for answer. Fiber optics technology used in telecommunication. Comparison. Answer. Fiber optics is a branch of physics dealing with principle of internal reflection and its application in various fields. Fiber optics technology enters high energy light waves in optical fibers, a hollow thread with efficient reflective inner surface at the one end, and it is transmitted to the other end. Besides its application in medical and broadcasting, it is very useful in telecommunications. Sound energy is converted into and transmitted as light energy through optical fibers. Speedy and efficient transmission is the main advantage besides clarity. There is no or negligible loss of energy and crosstalks are avoided. Electrical interference is also not present, so telecommunications gets good quality transmission. In comparison to metallic lines, optical lines are smaller and therefore more messages can be sent simultaneously. They have large bandwidth and so a potentially high transmission capacity. They are signal tapping proof and possess high temperature tolerance. Components are lightweight and 10,000 times thinner than hair. B. What is vermicomposing? Discuss its importance in the Indian context. Important points for answer. Vermicomposing technique, usefulness and relevance in India. Answer. Vermicomposting is a process of producing carbonic fertilizer by biochemical process using earthworms and biological waste. Earthworms convert the biological waste available in the soil, like remains of the crop, waste of animals, etc., into carbonic fertilizers. Indian farmers mainly use NPK fertilizer, of which nitrogen N and phosphorus P can be produced by vermicomposting apart from sulfur. Other benefit of vermicomposting is that they remove the waste of rural areas by composting them. They are unnecessary organic and inorganic matters, thus cleaning our villages. Preventing soil erosion, vermicomposting holds the soil together. Earthworms convert the complex nitrogen-based products into organic products in very short time, and so the fertilizer producing is not a time-taking process by vermicomposting. The process is a part of life cycle of earthworms, and so it never stops and do not require to replace them. They produce no harmful effect to the soil or its fertility. Total 155 words. C. What does the Montreal Protocol deal with? Discuss its role in protecting Earth's environment. Important points for answer. Montreal Protocol, environmental danger, protective measures. Answer. The Montreal Protocol deals with the protection of ozone layer in atmosphere. It was agreed upon and signed by 47 nations in September 1987 in the city of Montreal, Canada. They agreed to stop emission and use of ozone depleting substances. This protocol identifies two types of chemicals as ozone depleting, CFC and halogens. Ozone layer of the earth is in danger and some preventive measures are necessary, otherwise the result will be danger to life, natural resources, environment, health, biodiversity and ecological balance. This protocol aims at preventive measures to protect ozone layers of the earth is the most important step in this direction. In 1998, it adopted a policy to completely stop production and use of CFCs in 15 years by 2000 for the developed nations and 2010 for the developing nations. Under this protocol, a global fund is established to aid those developing nations who cannot afford technological costs for alternative chemicals. Total 155 words. Question 12. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. A. What is handshake in computer language? Answer. The handshake is often the steps of verifying the connection, the speed or the authorization of the computer trying to connect to it. An example of handshaking is when a modem connects to another when a modem connects to another modem. B. What is Ethernet and what is it used for? Answer. Ethernet is a local area network used to interconnect computer equipment. They use radio frequency signals sometimes. It is a very common type of LAN. C. What is digital signature and what is it used for? Answer. Digital signature, a mathematical scheme for demonstrating the authenticity of digital messages or documents, is an encrypted signature used as a means of authenticating electronic documents necessary for electronic commerce. D. What do the following stand for? Answer. 1. DRAM, Dynamic Random Access Memory. 2. JPEG, Joint Photographic Experts Group. 3. ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. 4. IMAP, Internet Mail Access Protocol. E. What is a WAP enabled phone? Answer. WAP, Wireless Application Protocol. Enabled phones are having screen facility which shows the picture of the user opposite side. It provides facilities of a number of WAP sites to the user through the medium of telephones. Question 13. Answer the following. A sample survey based on 280 postgraduate students was undertaken to study student aptitude towards a proposed change in the dormitory regulations. Each student was to respond as yes or no or indifferent in regard to the issue. The results are tabulated below. Response and percentage of students. Yes 54%, no 28%, indifferent 18%. Use a pie chart to represent the above information and obtain the number of students saying no to the proposed change. Answer is not given. B. Represent the following data by percentage subdivided bar diagrams. For all the statistics problem, answer is not recorded. Only the question is recorded. B. Represent the following data by percentage subdivided bar diagrams. Item of expenditure rupees. A. Food. B. Clothing. A. Food, family X, family Y. Food 200, family X, 300, family Y. B. Clothing 48, family X, family Y 75. C. Education, family X 32, family Y 40. D. House rent, family X 40, family Y 75. E. Miscellaneous, family X 80, family Y 110. Total 400 for family X and 600 for family Y. Answer. Question 14. Answer the following. A. Representing the following data by suitable graphs, determine therefrom the number of children having IQ, that is below 105 and above 124. Next question. The following table shows certain data collected for the three regions of the country. Obtain the overall figures for the three regions taken together. Next question. Answer the following. A. A man goes by car from town A to town B. A large part of the distance is uphill and he gets a mileage of 10 km per liter of fuel. On his way back, he makes 15 km per liter of fuel. The distance between the two towns is 60 km. What is the average mileage per liter of fuel? Answer. Fuel use upway, distance by mileage, that is equal to 60 by 10 is equal to 6 liters. Fuel use downway, distance by mileage is equal to 60 by 15, that is 4 liters. Average mileage per liter fuel is equal to total distance by total fuel is equal to 60 plus 60 by 6 plus 6, that is equal to 120 by 610, 12 km per liter. B. In a school there are 15 teachers, one of them drawing a monthly salary of rupees 7,800 retires and fresh appointment is made for a monthly salary of rupees 6,300. What amount is the average monthly salary of the teachers changed? Answer. Difference in salary is equal to 7,800 minus 6,300 is equal to 1,500. Rupees 1,500 is reduced from the total amount. This reduction is divided among total number of teachers, that is 15. That is equal to the average change 1,500 by 15. Average will fell by rupees 100. C. The geometric rate growth of sales for a company for the first 3 years was 25% and for the next 3 years was 40%. Is the claim of average growth being 65% valid? Give analytic reason in support of your answer. Answer. No, because geometric growth takes into account a new principle every year and so the rate of growth is compound. Therefore, we cannot simply state that the total growth is 65%. Taking an initial principle of rupees 100 and growth is equal to 25%, period is equal to 3 years. First growth is equal to 100, open the bracket, 1 plus 25 by 100, close the bracket, to the power cube is equal to 100, open the bracket, 100 plus 25 by 100, close the bracket, cube is equal to 100, inside the bracket 5 by 4 cube is equal to 100 plus 125 by 64. First growth is equal to 12,500 by 64. Second growth is equal to principal, open the bracket, 1 plus rate by 100 to the power period, that is equal to 12,500 by 64, open the bracket, 1 plus 40 by 100, close the bracket, to the cube, is equal to 12,500 by 64, inside the bracket 140 by 100 to cube, is equal to 12,500 by 64, inside the bracket 7 by 5 cube, is equal to 12,500 by 64 into 343 by 125, is equal to 34,300 by 64, is equal to 535.94. Growth over period of 6 years is equal to 535.94 minus 100 is equal to 435.94. Average growth is equal to 435.94 by 6 is equal to 72.66%. D. A train runs non-stop from New Delhi to Kanpur at a speed of 75 km per hour and returns the same way at a speed of 60 km per hour. Can you conclude that the average speed for the up and down journey is 67.5 km per hour? Justify your answer analytically. Answer. We cannot simply get an arithmetic mean as the average speed of a train provided the distance up and down is the same. We have to calculate harmonic mean in such cases. That is, average speed is equal to times of distance covered by mean speed is equal to 2 by 1 by 75 plus 1 by 60 is equal to 2 by 4 plus 5 by 300 is equal to 600 by 9. Average speed is equal to 66.67 km per hour. File 2 complete.